Hello, folks, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Zcast. Dantos has taken a bit of a break. He's got a few personal issues to sort out. So for this week, I'm going to be joined by Squee913. Say hello, Squee.
Hi!
So we first got to chat about the finals, our Super Bowl 1 vs 1 and Division finals, of which Squee, I'm sure, will take a great pleasure in.
Oh, actually I thought it was sad that I wasn't actually recording when I was doing the Sean Connery and everything.
Oh, God, no.
We'll get there. Why don't we start first with the All-Star matches? Which I have to say, our division was just sad.
Singularly unimpressive.
Oh my god. Every other fight was actually really close and awesome, and ours was like, woo! North guy.
Yay, we have two of the best teams in the league, and oh god, no.
I know, right? 10-2 teams, and we got, I'm sorry, Krillin was everyone did about what Krillin did, and Krillin's kind of average most of the time.
Yeah.
I was like, no, Cooler's any moment now, you wait.
I think Cooler actually did the best out of everybody. I was looking at that going, come on, Cooler. Oh, God, no.
Oh, so anyway, to recap it, what the All-Star Tournament was, if you guys didn't watch it, and if you didn't, shame on you, is we got each team from each division submitted a player. I would think probably your second best player. I think most people submitted their best for the one-on-one. Or, I don't know how everyone chose it, but that's technically the way it should have worked.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this out there for the next seasons, guys. When you're choosing the one-on-one MVP tournament, I would think less on who do you think stands a better chance and more on who really deserves it, who did the best during the season. That's what the tournament's supposed to be about. So, I didn't actually think Yamcha would be the best one to send. Boy, was I. But no. So every division sent one character from each team. So North Kai had Cooler, Krillin, Cell, and Namex had Nail. No, Late Piccolo.
Yeah, Late Piccolo.
And then, gosh, I'm not going to remember what all the other ones had. They had like a Rayleigh. No, I'm sorry. They had 18. The South Kai division had 18. Bardock.
Yeah.
Other people.
One of the Gohans.
I think Ultimate Gohan
actually,
and
Team Gohan, didn't they? Or was that the one versus one?
No, Team Gohan was in the one-on-ones. Yeah, I think it was Ultimate or Future Gohan and what's the other team there? Let's say it's Super Saiyans.
Vegeta.
Had Vegeta. Yes, you're correct.
Wow.
So and basically what they do is these teams would compete. And actually it was really fun because it was fun to see a team of different makeups. Everyone gets so used to seeing Team Cold, Team Saiyan, Team... It was fun to see four people that don't normally fight together.
Yeah, and how... It'd be interesting to see for Season 3, actually, how we organise it in terms of getting the teams working together.
Indeed. Actually, I thought they did a really good job. Even though they only had a week, each division had a forum, and they actually debated, who are we going to send, who should we throw as the starter.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's like one of the first times in league history Krillin did not start. Because I'm sorry, if you have Cell on your team...
Yeah, you have Cell start. I was thinking about sending in Frieza just to sort of screw up. Who starts?
Well, I don't know now.
Yeah, so you've got Krillin, Cell, and Frieza.
To give a quick recap, North Kai versus South Kai, it wasn't very entertaining. South Kai beat the pants off of them. Though, half of them weren't wearing pants, honestly.
Yeah.
So, East Kai versus West Kai was actually, I think, the best match of the night, of that tournament.
Yeah.
Not of the night, but of that tournament. It was very close. It was very fun. You had Supreme Kai actually stepped back out and did some really good effort. God, it was Supreme Kai versus someone else, and it was like a damn good one-on-one match. I don't remember who. I'm trying to remember. It's been days since I saw this. It was versus West, so it was. I think it was Abu. No. It was no, I'm sorry. It couldn't have been Boo. Boo was on the same team. It was either let's see. It was Team Muscle. So it was Android 13. It was Android 13.
Ah, right.
Android 13.
Oh yes, yes. Now I know where you're coming. Yes.
Android 13, Deborah, Tapion. No. Tapion was it was
Wait, who's in West Kai?
West Kai is Blades, Muscle, Majin, and Rugrats.
Ah, right. Okay. So did they have Goten in there then?
They had Trunks in there actually, and Trunks
they
did
had Trunks in the
Sorry,
one.
no, yeah, they had Goten in there. Yes, sir. They had They had Goten there. No, I think it was Supreme Kai versus Android 13, and that was a damn good one-on-one match.
Yeah.
It was really close, and you thought like at the last second you thought Supreme Kai had bought it, and then he pulls out it's a good match. And then it was obviously East Kai versus South Kai, and East Kai pulled that one out. It was also another close match, not like on the line match, but it was another close match.
It was still entertaining matches, aren't they?
Yeah. It was good times. And then we had a commercial, which I hope you guys enjoy the commercials. You should get used to them. Season 3, I'm going to try and use that format where I have 2 or 3 commercials. For things like the Zcast. I love the commercial you guys put together.
Actually, I'd have to give Dantos all the credit for that one. I did nothing for it. I had rather a lot of homework to do, and Dantos sort of stepped in and did stuff.
Somehow I didn't think you were involved, considering the clips that were put in there.
Yes.
And a lot of people were like, I like the commercials, but what was with Sir Francis? I was like, well, what do you mean? It was words of wisdom from Sir Francis the Wise. What else do you need to know? Actually, that is, guys, you should use that. That's something that's going to be a running gag commercial. I already have like 6 of them made.
Oh,
so, no. Words of wisdom from Sir Francis the Wise. It'll be great. Good times. I also have like different commercials made for the forums. Like, you saw Nappa and Vegeta. I have like a Guru and Nail. I have a Krillin and Vegeta. I have like a Birder and Raccoon.
Nice.
So you'll see those. And then you guys saw the new logo that Sepragessen put together for us.
Yes, very good logo. I like it.
And the credits the credits were different because it was a Tenkaichi Bowl. We'll get to that later, but I'll have credits for it. So it'll be like a show, a show with commercials and opening and exits. But then we had the first match of the actual Tenkaichi Bowl. I'm going to talk about that match last. We'll just talk about it all together.
Yeah.
And then, so we'll go on to the one-on-ones, which for anyone who doesn't watch, it's played in the tournament arena, which means that if you touch the ground outside of the ring, it's
all
considered.
The sides.
No, only one side. Just
that
that one area, which is why Yamcha is a cheap bastard. It's just that one little stretch if you touch that building.
That's just made me feel even worse.
I know. It's awesome. So if you touch that, it's ring out no matter how much health whoever has. And so it's theoretically possible that, say, someone like Yamcha could theoretically go up against someone like Mecha Frieza and in under 10 seconds punch them into the wall and get a ring out.
No, that's a stupid theory, and I think anybody who supports it should shut up, Squeak.
I thought I was screwed. I was like, Mecha is gonna kick me. And then Yamcha just goes out and just like push him back with some rush blast, and I was like, oh, you're my hero. And then he does it again to Majin Vegeta. And it was funny because I was commentating with Sparta, and it was just glorious. Yamcha hero. He didn't win. He actually eventually did get taken out.
Yes.
And of all people, Kid Trunks won the one-on-one matches.
Yeah.
Now, the one-on-one matches are really fun. You should go see them. It's so much fun because the matches there are such a sham. You have someone literally that is just kicking the other person's butt, and they'll get a ring out.
Yeah.
Completely win that match. Just
yeah. It's the fury and, anger and I'm going to kill Yamcha aside. It's a huge amount of fun.
So we had that, and congratulations to Kid Trunks and the Rugrats. Kid Trunks is the MVP for Season 2.
You're still making me giggle.
I didn't say who won the All-Star Games. East Kai Division 1. So congratulations to them as well. I thought about maybe making a banner, East Kai Division Champions, but it's not going to matter because you don't know what division you're going to be in. And if you're like in South Division with a banner that says
East Kai Champions.
East Kai Champions.
What you could do is have a general one saying Division Champions.
Yeah, we could do that. Perhaps. But hopefully Severgessen or Esther, the people who make our banners for us, will make a special one for the Rugrats. However, they should probably hold off until the Rugrats choose.
Yes.
Which Rugrats? I'm sorry, guys, and I've said this before, but I'm going to have to say this just in case you guys, are listening to this one too. You can't have Oob. He's not a kid. Even if he's only 15 years old, he that would also include the Trunks, the older Trunks, the younger Goku. Those are not kids. You cannot have them.
No, we're not kids.
So, because they're doing tryouts right now.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that. I'm like, okay, I see like Cell Jr. That's good. That's good. I see, they're trying out like maybe Chi-Chi. I was like, okay, Oob, what?
There may be a problem there.
And especially since it has recently come to my attention, Majins as well. I know that the Majins, I've told the Majins they didn't really have any choices for replacements, but it came to my attention that the second form of Oob is literally called Maj Oob.
It is, yes.
And, it's in the name, and it really is Majin Buu and Oob, which is the reincarnation of Kid Buu, so I really can't, if they wanted Maj Oob, I can't really say no.
Well, especially you could, but you'd be being pretty unfair.
Yes, I would. Charge with Majin!
Yeah.
And plus, most teams can at least have one person to fall back on. In fact, I think they were unless I'm mistaken, I think they're the only team that does not have. I have to think for a second. Almost every team has at least someone they can fall back on. Well, you don't anymore.
No, we don't anymore.
We'll get to that.
No, we won't.
Yes, we could.
Damn it.
I love
This
Dantos.
is my podcast, goddammit. Actually, no, it's not, but still. Shut up.
I'm commissioner. Do you like the credits?
Yes.
Creator, commissioner, editor, CEO. I actually even considered just doing it separately. Creator, Squee913, commissioner.
Yes, that would have actually been pretty entertaining just to see a long line of Squee913 going down.
And at the very end, others.
Yeah.
So
some other people were kind of involved, I suppose.
So Trunks, congratulations, Kid Trunks. And it turns out I did make a comment that I thought it was funny because they were considering dropping Kid Trunks, and I would have been hilarious if it was like, congratulations, you're the MVP. Here's your pink slip.
Go away. Yeah.
They have since informed me that is not the case. They are keeping Trunks, and they're thinking about dropping GT Goku.
We'll actually have a question about that later on in the podcast.
Good. So then we have the main event, the Tenkaichi Bowl, the Saiyans versus Buu.
Revenge is sweet.
And I'm sorry to say, Saiyans, it was a trouncing.
Yes, it was.
It was. You chalk it up to really good development on the Buu's part, or chalk it up to the randomness of the league, or chalk it up to the Saiyans just not showing up that day. But wow, it was a 2-and-out victory. The second match, the Saiyans did do better.
Yeah, they actually threw a punch.
Yeah. The first match
was awesome.
The first match was one of the few in the league. I think until that day, the Vowels were the only ones that could claim they've done this. They only used 2 people. 2 of the Boos didn't even step out on the field. I think Evil Boo and Majin Buu didn't even step out on the field.
Indeed.
Which, congrats, Boos. Until then, like I said, the Vowels were the only ones that have held that title.
Yeah.
With the Rayleigh.
Yeah. Oh god, no. Demon child.
So, yeah, the Boos, congratulations. The Boos are your Tenkaichi Bowl champions for Season 2. They won the gold. They have their Tenkaichi Bowl rings. And no, not the coach and fans. The Boos themselves have the rings. So it's not like don't expect anything in the mail. But congrats. I was going to say the fans. It's just Neo Wolf. So congrats, Neo Wolf. Great job. Great job with the team, even though you pretty much just randomized every single
It was awesome. I love the Boos.
I know. It's a pure genius. They never saw it coming.
Yeah, let's
so
try
that's
this
how
and this.
it
Makes sense, but let's try it anyway.
That's how the Tenkaichi Bowl works. What were your thoughts overall?
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I wasn't keen on the 1 versus 1s, but I don't like losing.
Fun, there's fun.
No, it was.
That is that it gives every team something to cheer for, and yet again at the same time not something they're as invested in as they are, say, every week or in the postseason.
I like it. It's a lot of light-hearted fun. Just waiting to see whether someone gets a ring out or someone chucks an ultimate. It's I like it.
Someone just beats someone fair and square, and you're like, whoa, what the?
Yeah. Well, that's not supposed to happen.
Square. What was who was it? A Tapion? I'm too honorable. Well, then you get ringed out.
Yeah. I love that.
It's one of those that.
Go on.
I was going to say, it's one of those that on one hand, I wish we did more often, but on the other hand, it would kill.
No, I would. It's nice to have it as a special event at the end of the league.
Something you look forward to, yeah.
No, it does. And it sort of it makes it worthwhile going for, doing all the testing and making your players as good as you can to see, who is really going to be your best player or who you like the most.
That is Season 2 of Dragon Ball Z League, an incredibly successful season. This has turned into something much, much bigger than I ever thought it would be, ever hoped it would be. Especially since, and you were talking about this last podcast. I remember talking to you about it before, because before I did it, I was so unsure. I was like, I don't know, I'm thinking about this, might do something like this, and I never imagined that it would have the kind of support it has. And it's humbling. It really is.
I was looking forward to it when you did start it. I certainly didn't expect it to go this far. It is pretty impressive. And still growing.
Yeah, and the evolution too. I mean, when Dragon Ball Z League started, there was no customization, not even AI customization. There was no changing who your team lineup is, your starters, or anything like that. It was just, here's 12 teams, watch them.
Yeah, pick your team.
And then it went to, I'll make a form, maybe we can have some banners, and then maybe we can change the AI, and then the Potars, and it just evolved into something great.
Yeah, and now we're looking at even more changes to how we customize them and what we can do with them. It's pretty fun.
Sad part is that eventually it's going to be like, it's evolved.
Yeah,
it's evolved. Every
evolved.
Season from here on out, it's going to be like I think I can say this right now, guys. I do not expect new teams. I think that the 16 we have are good. I'm definitely not adding more. It's already about 2 hours long, and adding more teams would not only make the schedule trees hard, but it would just be difficult. But also, I'm not going to change teams, like take teams out and add new ones in, because if you change a team every year or so, there's no chance or every season or so, there's no chance for it to develop a fan base and b a tradition.
No, there isn't.
Think 3-4 seasons down the road. You've been a Blades fan for 3 seasons. That means something.
Yeah.
If the teams are changing every season, there's no real chance to develop a legacy.
No, there
isn't. So I'm going to keep the teams unless something substantial happens. These 16 teams are the teams we're going to have.
Yeah.
So
something substantial, as in what? If we go hypothetically.
I don't know. Okay, well, the one thing I have toyed around with, and it couldn't be me, I just wouldn't have the time, but if someone wanted to do something, because one of the big things is people are like, there's so many players out there that we just don't use, and that we should use them for something. And like, someone suggested maybe at the beginning of every week they have like a one-on-one match with the unused characters and stuff like that. And I won't do that because, like I said, it's long enough.
Yeah.
That's just adding more work to me. But one thing that did cross my mind that would be fun and interesting if someone ever did it would be like a either during the off season or even in addition to the regular season, have like a two-man league, a tag team league.
Yeah.
Where we use people who aren't in the real league, kind of consider it like the minor leagues or the European League. Well, I guess I can't really say that because I have a worldwide audience. Well, normally in America, like say for example, in America, football and basketball are huge, and in Europe it's not as big. So the European leagues are generally don't have the highest quality players because they can't afford what the ones in America can.
Yeah, it's like football as in soccer.
In America.
Exactly, yeah.
Soccer in America. I'm pretty sure that any English soccer team could probably beat the pants off of any American soccer team.
But, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Rugby, definitely. I don't think we even know what that is. You know what? Sadly, and I am a little sad about this, I don't even know how you play it. It confuses the daylights out of me.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm a football guy, American football guy, and it's in some ways it's so similar, and in other ways you're like, okay, what are they doing now? They're all hugging each other. I don't know.
There are so many great jokes about the scrum in rugby, all of them very, very offensive.
You can at least explain that to me. What is the scrum for? It's just they're like holding each other and they kind of go back and forth a little bit, and then for no reason whatsoever, it just breaks up. It's like, what determines this?
Rugby's not my game.
Okay. At least I'm not alone.
No, I have some entertainment in watching incredibly big people beating the crap out of each other.
I don't know if I respect them or I think they're crazy. At least in American football, we wear lots of pads and helmets, and we still get lots of injuries. They walk out there in shorts and a T-shirt.
Yes, they do.
Crazy.
I once heard, can't remember who said it. It was a quote from somewhere, but rugby's a thug's game played by gentlemen, and football is a gentleman's game played by thugs.
I can see that. Actually, they can get violent in soccer.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just kick your jugular? I was going for the ball.
Yes. I'm sorry. Why have you got no legs? Where have they gone?
Oh, actually, what I have to give them the most credit for is they run their stamina in soccer has to be amazing. At least in football, in American football, you have 30 seconds between each play to rest. You have, you're on the field half the time, and then the defense or the offense is on the field, so you have time to rest. Soccer, it's like you are constantly running up and down that field for hours.
It's 45 minutes of each side of pain.
Yeah, so I have much. The only sport that I have more respect for endurance for, I believe it or not, is water polo. Water polo.
Never actually played or seen played.
It's imagine basically just like soccer, except instead of running everywhere, you're swimming everywhere. And if you've tried swimming,
awful. No,
yeah,
that's that. No.
So I have so much respect for them, and it's not like you can touch the ground. You have to tread water the entire time.
Yeah, that would be pretty uncomfortable.
So anyway, what I was saying was maybe future ideas when it grows bigger, and there's someone I would trust to head it. You know what I mean? Have like a minor league where it's just maybe 2-on-2 teams, and we use people who aren't in the regular game. Maybe you could do like a Zarbon and Dodoria, or you could do some of Frieza's boys. You could do, there's a lot of stuff you could do. There's tons of characters we don't use.
No.
You could do King Piccolo and Tambourine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. There's some entertaining combinations you could have.
Yeah, you could make at least 8 teams or so of 2-and-2, and then just have like a minor league either during the off season or in addition to the regular season. You could even do customizations like everything and have their own little teams. I think that would be a fun thing to do, but like I said, I personally I wouldn't have the time to devote that amount of effort.
It's a lot. It's going to be a lot of work, regardless of.
So it would be, but it's something that might in the future something that might happen. That would be fun, and you could space it out where like you have Dragon Ball Z League on Fridays and this like on Wednesdays or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, wishful thinking for the future.
Indeed, but something that for anybody who wants to do it to consider.
Yes, actually, if there is someone, and I'm very serious when I say this. You would have to be dedicated to it. It would be your thing. I mean, I wouldn't even have control in it other than, stealing players from the league kind of thing. But it would be something that you would really have to devote time and effort to, or I wouldn't accept it kind of thing. Because if it's going to be done, it's going to be done right. But if there's someone who would really be interested in putting that together, and that means streaming it, changing the builds for the characters, uploading it to YouTube, guest commentators wouldn't be a problem. You would be able to find those. That wouldn't be a big difficult. But I mean, like, you'd have to have the internet to stream it, the game to run it, the emulator, the computer that could run the emulator, the will to change. Trust me, folks, it wouldn't be as bad as this, but I spend about an hour and a half every single week just making the changes to the characters' builds. It is time consuming because you're talking about 16 teams of 4 people, and sometimes almost all of them have some change.
Yeah.
So, and then editing and uploading. If there's someone out there who's willing to do all that, I'm willing to talk because I think that would be a really fun addition.
Yeah. No, it would be a lot of entertainment.
So, but maybe we should talk about what is changing, what is going to be different between season 2 and season 3.
Oh God, huge amounts of stuff. Where do you want to start on that one?
Well, first of all, there's no Team Cold anymore. Secondly, the Majins is just going to be because we realized that the Majins had way too many people on the field.
Yes, they do.
They had Spopovich, they had Yamu. They had Debor, Majin Vegeta, Bobbity, Pui Pui, and Yakon. That is way too many people.
Yeah, and if you include all the support staff on the sidelines, I mean, come on.
So actually, this next season, it's going to be Spopovich, Bobbity, Yakon, and Debor. No, I'm sorry, and Pui Pui. I keep razzing Sparta about that because for everyone, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, Bobbity has his two moves, his two supers, is one he calls out a character called Pui Pui that does a move, and the other one he calls out a character named Yakon that does a move. So I keep razzing him that he has too many people on the field, so basically next season he's just going to have Bob against Popovich.
And even then I'll have 5 people.
Right, because Yamu might come out.
Yeah.
See, I'm giving him an extra person.
Be grateful, Sparta.
Now let's start with the big announcements first. Is that there's going to be a couple of character changes mandated. I've already contacted all the teams. All the teams have been very surprisingly understanding and helpful about this. What you guys need to understand is that, and this wasn't just me. This was the entire staff, including Rebel and Dantos.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Debated this, and we have to think about beyond a single team. And Rebel, Rebel and Dantos, because you're both cold, I actually give you guys mad props for this because you were able to sit there and think about more than, just Team Cold. And in fact, all the teams did. The Boos actually kind of saw it coming.
Yes.
And the others were actually very, very understanding. That there are certain teams, especially all the 10-2 teams, the Saiyans, the Androids, the Cold. It's not that you were 10-2; it's that you were 10-2, and everyone else was not even close.
Yeah.
And so we looked at the teams, we analyzed them, we found out, like for example, we found out Team Cold was a little overpowered because, and I give you kind of credit for this one because you found a build that works so well. And just that part that your characters just have a tendency to spam the ultimates and your build accommodated that so well that Team Cold would throw out 5-6 ultimates in a game, and they're incredibly hard to dodge, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So that was just devastating opponents. So we decided, in Rebel, like I said, Claude Rebel, you and Dantos were, with us on this, that we're kicking out Metacooler.
Yeah.
it wasn't just for that. It was one that Metacooler had one of the powerful ultimates that was really hard to dodge. That and Rebirth.
Yeah, and I was joking in that if I could get Rebirth to work, I'd probably have Metacooler taking on entire teams on his own.
Yeah. So we're removing Metacooler, and which is giving you back King Cold. You know, I wouldn't jump the gun on that. We've never seen King Cold with Patars, and
we'll have to see.
As much as we made fun of him, he wasn't horrible in season 1. The team as a whole was.
Yeah, the team as a whole was generally bad.
Wasn't horrible. And if you saw some of the tests that Crow Gamer has been putting up, Captain Ginyu with his Patara build was mighty nice.
He was pretty good.
So we may be seeing a return of the captain to the Ginyu Force, which makes my heart warm. Really, it's not the Ginyu Force without the captain. The captain. So, so the Colds have lost Mecha Cooler. Mm-hmm. The Saiyans have lost Nappa. The main reasoning behind that was not so much that Nappa himself was incredibly overpowered, but he had an extra life bar, and it's just an advantage that team does not need.
Yeah, no,
they have a hard enough time beating them without the extra life bar. So as sad as I am to see Nappa go, because Nappa is awesome. Famous. He's famous.
Yeah.
The Saiyans actually, they were very understanding about that as well. And then, of course, there's the Boos. We looked at the Boos. The thing with the Boos is they didn't have a 10-2 record, but
they're amazing.
If you consider the fact that Neo was playing with the builds, he literally was like throwing random builds every single week and was still getting those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
I quake in fear to think of what would have happened if he had found a build
going, right, okay, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I quake in fear because the Boo's biggest thing is, holy crap, they heal.
Yeah.
They are so regenerative. I mean, honestly, I think the Boo's healing power, and no one talks about this much, I think the Boo's healing power outdoes the androids with Cell and Giro.
Yes, no, it definitely does. The potential for being able to spam that is amazing.
So we have taken away Goting's Boo, because Goting's Boo is also rather powerful, and he tends to use Rebirth a lot.
Yeah.
And we're giving them... We're probably going to go with Gohan Boo. Because the Super Boo also has the ability for Rebirth, so we'll probably with Gohan Boo. But like I said, he's been understanding with that as well. And then there's the androids. I know a lot of people are going to be happy about this one. No more Super 17. Mm-hmm. Super 17, I'm not going to say... Well, I guess I did. I tested him. And I didn't think he was overpowered, and I still don't think that he's incredibly overpowered. He's not stronger than a Rayleigh, but see, here's the difference. And let me explain this. A Rayleigh and Super 17 are both monsters.
Yes.
However, the Vals need a character like a Rayleigh because, Videl, Fasha, they're not that great of characters. 18, I mean, when she gets pissed, she's awesome.
Yeah.
But even with Rayleigh and her monster abilities, they were still an average team.
Yeah.
The androids have Cell, who has the ability to gain 2 bars of health back and heal with every grab. The androids have 17, who
is amazing.
I mean, he has his dirt moments, but he also has his moments where he'll take out everyone.
Yeah.
They have Giro, who also can heal with his grabs. And then you throw in Super 17, who has the most powerful B2 moves in the game.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's too much. It's just too much. And I talked to the androids about this, and they were very understanding, is that since the androids never changed their build. The entire season, they changed it like the first week, and then they never touched it again. And it was like, you didn't have to work. And I would have done the same thing. Every single one of us would have. Yeah. But the idea of the league is... I want the teams to have to work for the victories. I want you to have to sit down and take risks and try new builds and try new things and adapt. And the Android team with Super 17, you just did not have to do that. With Super 17 and Cell and Giro. Now, I think you take Super 17 out, they're still a really strong team, but they should still have to work a lot harder. And like I told them, it's a good chance to show that it's not the players that win, it's the fans and the coaches.
Yeah, and I think trying to integrate another player into your team is a lot harder than people think it is. Especially given with some of the other restrictions that we're going to be adding in. It'll make it a lot more entertaining to actually bring in new players and to actually get them to work and fit in.
That is definitely true, and it is true that they're going to have to work a lot harder to test those new players. And I'm going to I haven't talked to the testing staff yet, but I'm going to talk to them. New characters are going to have a bit of a priority when it comes to testing. If, like, for example, if we're crunched for time, and there's a test between a new character and an old one, the new character will take priority because you've already had a season at least to test the old character.
Yeah, quite.
You already know the capabilities and stuff like that. So, like, if the androids, it looks like they're going to probably take 16 back.
Mm-hmm.
Or, King Cole, if you have a test for those will take some precedence. So that's the player changes so far. We're not done talking about everything. There are some things we have talked about that we're not ready to say anything yet. Yeah. But those are the main ones that we have already contacted the teams, already announced these are final, these are what's going to happen.
Yep.
There are some rule changes as well. I was actually going to say something else, I don't remember what. I'll think about it later, maybe.
Literally just as soon as you stop recording.
Oh, no. I was going to say this about testing. Because we have so many test requests. And we're starting to get a lot of people who can do tests. Mm-hmm. HJK was doing tests the other day. We have another gentleman. Starts with the D. I talk to him all the time. I don't remember his name.
Darren, Joe.
He's the coach of the Blades, I believe.
Darren guy?
Yes. Thank you. He's been testing as well. That I'm going to do this. Anyone who can and wants to help out with the test, in other words, you have an emulator and you have a computer that can run it, and you have the Patars and all that free, which generally you can just find a saved game with everything unlocked. If you want to help run the test, I'm going to choose like a person in charge of that category. Crow Gamer, he's been our lead tester for a while. His life is kind of starting to get a bit busy, so he'll probably be testing, but he's not going to be like the lead tester or whatnot. I'll choose one, and then basically you'll just contact with him. If you want to help test and you can, basically what'll happen is you will test it, upload it to your channel, and then we'll add it to our testing playlists. Because the more people who test, the better for the league. The more tests we can get done.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't just start handing out the login and password to everyone to upload it to the channel. So I was thinking about that. We'll do it that way. You can just upload it to your channel, and then we'll add it to the playlist, and that way we could get twice the tests done.
Easily. Yeah.
So if you have it, and you're willing to help out on the tests, let us know. And we'll get you set up to start doing tests. And it's also a good chance for you to do some commentary, because if you're testing it, you can commentate on it. I mean, that just makes perfect sense. So it's a nice way to maybe practice some commentary or not. I like that HJK's analysis. Those
it was actually really interesting. I was a bit skeptical when he first put it up. I was like, oh wow, I'm impressed now.
If you guys didn't see, HJK was doing some tests, and then after the matches, he would actually kind of replay parts of it with some cool filter on it, and he would analyze it and say, this is what happened, this is who was really good at what, and this is my personal thoughts from what the team testing should take away. And I thought that was really cool. It helped concisely point out.
It helped sum up stuff.
So that's what I meant for the testing. So get in contact with me through PM on the forums if you're interested in that. And then I guess we can go to the rule changes?
Yeah.
Or I guess rule changes, added features. I guess we should.
Yeah.
A big rule change is... God, I realize I'm talking too much. You want to talk more?
No, particularly. I'm fine letting you...
I don't want to steal your show.
My throat's killing me, Squeeze.
Okay, I'll keep going. Fine, I will steal your show then. We're limiting the amount of times you can use a Patar on the same team to 2. In other words, no longer will we have teams where everyone has indignation, or everyone has savior, or everyone has. Yeah, I know. Oh, whatever. You were a huge supporter. Don't even act like it. You were like, I think that's a brilliant idea.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Because it's not that we thought people were bad for doing it, and it worked a lot. But we want to, again, the point is to make you guys think and make you have to really consider how you build your teams. And taking away your ability to put the same thing on everyone will make you really focus on, okay, who deserves this?
Yeah.
And so basically you can't use any Potara more than twice. So let's say you want to use Savior. Well, you better choose the two people who you really want Savior on. Let's say you want to use Launch Support. You better choose the two people who would really use it well. And that includes the new ones that we're about to add. You can't have more than two in your team as a whole. So that's a new rule, a new change we made. Another change we've made is we're adding a couple more abilities for you to use. Basically, these are blue abilities, and we didn't add them in the first season because they're very generic. Basically, it's attack +2, super +2, defense +2, or 1, or whatever. Right. And we didn't add them at first because everyone would just use those. Every character on the team would just be super +2, defense +2, attack +. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
and you would miss out on all the really cool abilities that people have.
Yeah.
But what we did find were there were some blue ones that had advantages and disadvantages inherently in them. In other words, super +2, power up -1, attack +2, defense -1. So if you want that boost to your attack, you have to take that hit to your defense. And I think that will make people think a little bit more before they use it. Like, okay, do I really want to use this? And by limiting it to just those and their 1-point builds, you still have room for other things. And we might change, we'll have to talk about this, but it might be something like you can only have one per character. Like we haven't made this rule yet. And I might not. We'll have to discuss it. But I was thinking, you can only have one of those per character. So you can't have a super +2, power -1, and a defense +2, runner -1 on the same character.
Yeah.
But as of yet, that's not the case. As of yet, you can do that, but you obviously you have to keep in no more than 2 per team.
Yeah. How many Potara points do the blue ones cost?
1.
1. Right. Okay. So
I think they're all just 1 point.
Okay. So you're still leaving room for another a full bill around it. Okay.
Exactly, which is another reason for choosing them is because since they're so low cost, you can choose 1 or 2 and still have to use the other abilities to fill up the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we were thinking, just to give you a little taste, the Earth Defenders are thinking about, Krillin's our opener. We like a nice defensive powerhouse, and we're thinking you take Krillin, you put Dende's healing, defense +2, attack -1, and latent energy on him, which his defense goes up as his life goes down. And
oh, God, no.
But you have a brick wall that's not that good at attacking. So, it'll be interesting to see how that works.
Which, if you can get him to rely on supers, won't be a problem.
That's the problem. Krillin relying on supers.
Yeah.
But like I said, got a lot of work to do. I think Earth Defenders, their star is rising, especially after all the work I put in and the first playoff match. If they fight like that in season 3, I have good things planned for them.
I do.
The actual abilities that we're adding, so that you know, is attack +2. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it up.
Okay.
Let me get out from under my cat because I was laying on the couch. Let me pull that up because some people were actually asking, well, what does that do? And I can actually tell you literally what that does. Let me get to the forum. The power of the forums.
Yay!
Yay! All right. Where are we?
I have no idea. There are so many different threads. I'm getting confused.
I know, right? Okay, changes for Season 3 is where we are. Let me go back to page 1. Okay, the actual abilities that we'll have is attack, and attack means fisticuffs, melee attacks. Attack +2, defense -1, defense +2, attack -1. So, it's the mirror of each other. And you know what? I will say this. I think this is pretty agreed that everyone would agree with this. You can't have those two on the same character.
Yeah, I think that would certainly be one benefit of the.
You know what? I really. I really kind of like that rule because it
makes you really think about what you actually want your character to be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, you might see a whole bunch of defense +2 and super +2s.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it. But definitely, I think you could say you don't do the two mirror ones because really all that would do is raise each up
by one.
Yeah. So you have attack +2, defense -1, defense +2, attack -1, key power up +2, defend super down 1. So in other words, you charge faster, but your blast 2s do less damage. And then the opposite, your blast 2s are up 2, your charging is down 1. And like I said, we'll hammer out the actual rules for that, but we're adding those in, and they should complement or give you more options in how you want to build your character.
Yeah.
I was going to show you exactly what to do, because some people are like, well, +2, what does that even mean? Well, let me explain.
Dun, dun, dun.
And this is why when you post this, you should say, hey, you guys need to listen so that you can learn this stuff.
Education at home.
Yay! Actually, there was a link to it over here somewhere. Aha! From good old Separgasm. All right, this is a link to this is a post I did some time ago during the beginning of Season 2 where I literally spent several hours. You guys have no idea how much work I do on this. Where I just tested things over and over, and I literally took a calculator and I calculated how much these do. Basically, I was doing it for indignation and stuff, like seeing how much as your health bars drop, how much they go up.
Yeah.
And I found this out. Now I don't know attacks. Attacks are really hard to judge, and I don't know power-ups. How much faster you actually charge. But for defense, for every -1 or +1 in defense, you're talking about 5%. So in other words, if you had +1 in defense, and someone attacks you with a move that does 10,000 points of damage, it would only do 9,500 points of damage. If you had the +2 on, it would only do 9,000 points of damage. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you're talking about every single move is going to be less. And if you think about how many times your character has been survived by a couple hundred points, and you attach that to Dende's healing and maybe something like latent energy.
Yeah. You're looking at something that's going to be pretty impressive. That
final health bar, because latent energy raises it up, like on that final health bar, I think it's up by like 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Hang on. Actually, I have that information here. In latent energy, when you were reduced to 1 health bar, the attack move was only doing 92% damage. So if you had 92% damage minus another 10% damage,
82%.
The moves... Yeah, the moves are only doing 82% damage. That's a substantial loss.
That is pretty impressive. It
So,
certainly takes down a lot of teams, especially the higher the damage that a move would usually do.
Right.
The greater the less damage is. What?
Now, the impressive one is super. For every increase to your super, every super increase +1 is 12%.
What?
Is 12% per. So you're thinking, and we'll have to do tests on this to be absolutely sure, because what I was actually testing losses, not adds. But I mean, if it's -1, it should be the same for +1, yeah. I believe. But what I found it was, so basically, if a move generally did 10,000 points of damage with a +1 to a super, it would do
12,000.
No, yeah, no. Yeah. No, not 12,000. It'd be 11,200.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But, you add 2 to that, then you're talking about 12,400 instead of 10,000. You're talking a substantial boost in your power. And then you add indignation onto that.
Yeah.
You're talking about substantial boost.
You're looking at Mecha Freezer doing like 25,000 points of damage.
Yeah, you are looking at substantial boost to power. Which is why I'm seriously thinking about limiting you to 1 blue per character, because if you're only taking 82% damage and doing, yeah, but the thing is that yes, this will make people powerhouses, but everyone has access to this ability, and everyone has to take a penalty for it. So let's say you want that 12%, that extra 24% or whatever, you're going to charge slower. So keep that in mind. You won't be knocking out as many moves.
Yeah. Either that, or you'll have to use extra Patara abilities to
compensate.
Yeah, to compensate for it.
Right. So that's what that means. I think that's one thing people are really excited for. I think they will get excited. I don't think they really understood exactly how helpful that could be. And the other change we have is, this is a change. It's still, we're calling it experimental because we haven't signed it into law yet, because there could be complications we haven't come across yet. But the idea is to have an all-star player. Mm-hmm. Basically, we want to have one player per team who can have a 7-point build.
Yep.
The only reason why everyone is limited to 5 points is because there are certain characters who need to use 2 points to have the same health everyone else has.
Yep.
And so that reduces the 7 to 5. If there was a way to go in there and mod the game so that everyone had the same health, everyone could use 7 points. It's just that I'm not a coder. I don't know how to do that. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome if you could do that?
That would be pretty cool.
But so what we've decided, though, is to at least add a little spice to the league, have one player on each team who can use a full 7-point build. And they're kind of like your all-star player. Now, the catch is there are a lot of teams who only have 1 or 2 people who could use this because their other characters need to use those 2 points for the extra life. Yeah. So the only way to do this is by random selection. Now, we know that this might make a lot of people upset, and some people are going to rage because they're going to say, well, the random selection chose my worst character and their best character, and that's not fair. And personally, I say, first of all, you're looking at it wrong. I know every time someone says 7-point build, oh my god, I'm going to put it on my best character and make him even stronger. That's not always the best way to do it. A lot of times it could be much more effective to put it on your worst character to turn your worst character into something to contend with. That way your team has no worst character.
Yeah. You can be confident no matter who goes out, you're gonna do well.
Exactly. Imagine if you take who's not such a great character. Let's say
Krillin?
Goku? Krillin. Yeah, let's say Krillin is an average character. He has his moments, but he's never had a breakout, and he has some matches where it's just like, dude, do something, tag out.
Yeah, just go away.
But just imagine those 2 extra points could turn him into something to contend with. Would he be, the best character in the team? Maybe not, but he'd be up there. And I would have a team of 4 decent people, and that's awesome.
I think it's
I guarantee you. Hey! I guarantee you that a team with 4 decent characters would probably have a better win-loss record than a team with 1 horrible character, 2 okay, and 1 awesome.
Yes, I agree.
So don't look at it as just, oh, I got my worst character. Good. Use it to take out, and that's where the random will come in. But just have that mindset of, if it comes on my best character, I know what to focus on. If it goes on my worst character, that's fine. I still know what to focus on.
Yeah. I think not only you've got, if it's on your worst character, that's fine. But also take it the other way as well. If it's on your best character, then great. You can make it into that powerhouse if that's what you want to do. Or you can, expand what that character actually does.
And just hope they don't get hit with a bunch of B2s and don't do anything for the match,
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
So now the reason why we haven't, said this is for sure what we're going to do, set in stone, is because, and only because,
we can't have thought of everything. Well, we tried.
We might find out that there's something in it that makes it too unbalanced.
Yeah.
And really, that's only going to be
done by
found out.
It. Yeah.
Right, by using it. And I think we're going to put several restrictions, like, say, for example, we might not give it to maybe like characters like Freezer or Cell, there's another character I'm not thinking of that can transform a lot and get health back. Isn't there?
Is there?
Maybe. Well, those are the two big ones. Like, we might not let Frieza or Cell have it because, I mean, they're already able to transform and get, like, 1.5 to 2 health bars back and get energy back from grabs, and you want to add 7 points on them? So we might...
I think... I don't know. You look at it that way, but then you could also say, well, that's something you have to look at focusing on or look at countering when it comes to it, because you have a limit. Even though you have a lot of transformations, there are excuse me, there are a limited number of them, and Cell's transformations, eventually he can't gain the health back or he can't do certain things. So I don't know about that.
Well, and like I said, that's definitely not set in stone yet. This is all just why it's experimental for the time being. So here's what's going to happen in a month or two. Actually, I'm thinking more like a month and a half. Give teams time to choose their roster. This off season, you're not going to have the entire off season to choose who's on your team. By a certain point, you're going to have to say, "This is my team." So start testing now and talking about who you want on your team if you have replacements that you can replace someone with. Because in about a month and a half, you're going to have that locked in. You're going to have that solid. Because once we know who's on whose team, we're going to start doing the random selections for the all-star player. And then, once we have all the all-star players picked, you can start testing that player on 7-point builds.
Sounds
to
good.
See what you can do. And by the way, I didn't say this for testing, in case you guys didn't know. Since we're in the off-season, you can test full builds. You're still limited to the one-on-one matches, but they can be full builds. I didn't allow that during the season, because during the season, I want you guys to take risks. I don't want you to be able to test your builds without actually having to step on the field.
Yeah.
But in the off season, hey, go to town.
Some people certainly taking full advantage of that one.
Yes, they are. But once we get the all-star players picked, you can start testing that character on 7-point builds, and that's when we're going to be able to say, yes, this is okay. No, this is just too much.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. But I think that overall it would be really fascinating and interesting and add a lot of depth to the teams, because not only will you have more options with that character, but how your other characters interact and how you set up your team and who starts and all that can potentially be changed by who your MVP is.
No, it does, yeah. That could potentially screw your entire team's build around. So have fun with that.
Yeah. There is, of course, one caveat to this. If Dragon Ball Heroes, depending on who they select, they might not have any characters who can have a 7-point build. And if that's the case, well then, I'm sorry guys, we can't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say Dragon Ball Heroes, maybe it's worth choosing someone so that you can have that 7-point build. That's something you're going to have to think about. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if you think about it, okay, maybe we'll take early Goku, because he would be available. He's the early Goku from the end of Dragon Ball, the one that took on Piccolo. So he's eligible for Dragon Ball Heroes.
And also from the test that we saw before, a decent character.
Yeah, actually, we're thinking about
very well for you.
we're thinking about changing their name to like Dragon Ball something, Dragon Ball Warriors or something, because since they had so much trouble, right, they're going to be able to test out the evil characters as well. Since we had when I voted for teams, you had Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Villains. Since we're not going to have that anymore, there's no reason why the Dragon Ball team can't also have villains to help test them out. So I would say that, maybe taking someone who wasn't quite as good in the testing would be worth it, because you could have that 7-point build on them.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. And like I said, it's all experimental. And of course, that being the case, Dragon Ball Heroes, if you're watching, if you choose someone for that reason, and then for whatever reason we decide not to do the All-Star, then you can, of course, then go ahead and change back to who you originally would have wanted. Yeah. We would allow that. No, it's too late now.
Yeah. You're going to have that worst player for the whole of the season. Yeah.
And there's one more change to talk about, which I'm very excited about, and a lot of people were really asking for this, and so we've done it. See, we listen to you guys.
Very occasionally.
Home stadiums. There will be home stadiums in Season 3. The way it'll work is, I already have the post up, if you're from a team who hasn't selected yet, because there are a lot of teams who don't even know of its existence so far, apparently. What you will do is you go to this post, and I have all Gosh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 18 maps. You choose one of those to be your home map, and half of your matches will be fought on this home map. It'll be home games and away games, like a real sports league. Mm-hmm. Each map, I have the name, and I have a link to one of a match on that map, so you can see what map I'm talking about. Like, if you don't know exactly what Supreme Kai's World is, go to the link. It'll show you what Supreme Kai World is. Yeah. And then you choose what you want your home stadium to be. Now, the fun part gets when, like, for example, when Team Cold and the Saiyans both want Frieza's spaceship.
Yep.
What'll happen when two teams want the same? It's not a first come, first serve. It's not, hey, this guy already chose it, so I'll have to choose one of the other ones. No. You choose whatever you want. If 2 or 3 people already asked for that map,
fight it out.
Fight for it. Sometime in the off season, very soon, because it's going to be using the Season 2 teams. Why? Because if I let you use what you're planning on doing for Season 3, then it's like having an extra test.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Season 2 teams, and it's going to be what you've already posted for your final customization in the final customization threads. So don't think
I get a rematch.
don't think you get to change them with all the new testing you've done, because it just wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
So it'll be actually, you know what? Actually, I've considered doing just to make it absolutely fair, AIs but no build, because it's just an exhibition match. Well, no, I don't know.
I think having the AIs, the whole full builds that we used during the season or at the end of the season that we had, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. We'll use the full builds at the end of the season, and what you'll do is you'll fight over, like, for example, Team Cold and the Saiyans sometime very soon will have a fight on Frieza's spaceship for Frieza's spaceship. And the winner takes it, and the loser has to choose another map. Now, theoretically, because I like being mischievous, let's say Team Cold loses that. Well, okay, then they want Hell. Well, the Majins already claimed Hell too. Well, then they'll fight the Majins.
Oh, no.
Until they find a home. I think this is a good way to instill some pride in your home match. And then what'll happen is I will set the schedule up in such a way that half your matches will be at home, half your matches will be away. It may not be, alternating. Sometimes you might have 2 weeks at home and then 2 weeks away, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know how this
in a sports league anyway.
Right. But half of them will be at home. So don't just think about what map you like the most. Think about what might play to your team's tactics. For example, just saying, Ginyu Force with your raccoon planting might not want to choose something like Kami's Lookout, where there's a lot of areas where you can't plant people.
Yeah, like the sparkly chamber thing might work.
Yeah, exactly. It's all over the place. You can plant there. The hyperbolic time chamber. Yeah, so I mean, think strategically too. If you I wonder if anyone's going to choose Mountain Road. Mountain Road is notorious for blocking B2s, but you know what?
Bastards.
Hey, let's say you're a melee-oriented team. Mm-hmm. That would play to your advantage. You know what?
Indeed.
All their beams keep getting blocked by that cliff. That's fine. Your melee combos will always find them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, that's what I'm talking about. Use those to your advantage. The only stipulation we have is, one, you don't get to choose what time of day, because there's a lot of maps that have noon, evening, and night. You just get to choose the map. And Saiyans are limited from one map. I'll have to test Frieza's ship, but I don't think they can actually change on Frieza's ship, because there's no technical moon. They're limited from...
Can you do the checking after we've beaten the crap out of them? Just saying.
Yeah. You can't Broly's Planet, because Broly's Planet is always a night map. Other than that, they can choose anything else, because they can choose any of the other maps. They just won't fight on the night stage. And just to keep some spice in there, don't worry, guys. Just like in the other season, if you're playing an away game and that happens to be a night map, hey, kudos to you. But we're not going to make it so that every other match you're fighting on a night map.
Yeah.
So that your entire team can go ape. That's a little too much. So go to that forum, check out actually talk amongst your team first. I don't want a whole bunch of... The coach really should be the one making the the selection after they've talked it over with their team. I don't want a whole bunch of, we want this, no, we want that.
Oh, God.
But so we'll have home stadiums, and those will be really fun. Cell Arena, you may notice, is not on the list because Cell Arena is being reserved for the Tenkaichi Bowl. There was another one that wasn't on the list. I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, the Ruined City nighttime, because it glitches out a lot. Freeze's map used to glitch out a lot, but it hasn't been lately, so we put that up there.
Cool.
But everything else is pretty much fair game.
I'm going to be interested to see how many exhibition matches we end up getting.
I know. I'm
Looking
hoping
forward
for
to this. Yeah.
I'm hoping someone wants Kami's house, because I don't think anyone can take it though.
Dragon Ball Heroes.
They might. That's
kind of
true.
fits in with the spirit of the team. That's the only reason I chose Frieza's ship. I don't particularly mind. It's like, sure, I'll take my own
but exactly.
ship.
But it's Frieza's ship.
Exactly. Come on.
That could be cooler ship, actually. You don't know, but
Well,
still,
I don't particularly mind. It's a ship in space that looks
Yeah.
like one of the Cole families. Come on.
And like I said, you're not limited. Like Namek, you don't have to choose Namek. I mean, I could see why you would want to for the same reasons, for spiritual, team spirit reasons, but you don't have to choose Namek. Oh, and I did not choose the burned out versions of maps. There's certain maps like Namek and a lot of Earth maps that someone named Cole launches an ultimate and destroys half the planet, and the map changes.
We
like
get
Namek,
blamed for everything.
the map changes. Like Namek dies, turns into Dying Namek, which is all full of lava. Earth turns into that
Awesome cliff.
raining cliff thing. Yeah. Those you can't choose because I want people to still. I want some maps to still have that change aspect. So, but other than that, everything's fair game. Just go there and pick one.
Cool.
I think that is all the listed changes so far, unless I'm missing one.
I can't think of any others, but I'm
Let me-
notoriously airheaded.
Just in case anyone's not familiar with it, we have switched the posting of final builds to a private thing. Like, it's something that I can see, and after I make the changes, I approve of it so everyone can see. This is simply to deal with teams that would look at what the other team's going to do
And then switch at the last second.
Switch at the last second, right.
Yeah.
So all the team forums are secret. You have to actually declare for a team, and then we give you the ability to see and post in that forum. So, like, for example, I can, but it's my forums. Normal people can't go to see
people,
it.
yeah. Special godlike people can.
And for everyone, just so you know, I will only pop into your forum to give you information. Like, for example, the only time I've popped into anyone's forums is to tell them, hey, this character or that character can't be used or whatnot.
Yeah.
I will not continuously go to your forums and read what you're doing, because that destroys the spirit of the league.
Indeed.
And if you don't believe by now that I am more interested in the spirit of the league than my own win-loss records. I've told my one compadre in Earth Defenders that we're not changing. Earth Defenders theoretically have tons of people they could have on their team.
Mm-hmm. But you're not changing anybody because you're too
not changing
damn
anyone
honorable.
because it's the Earth Defenders. Really,
Yeah.
Yamcha, Tien, and Goku. That's it. We will sink or swim by those four characters, because I feel the spirit of the team is more important than win-loss records, and I hope to God that you guys keep this in mind too. I feel a lot of teams concentrate too much on win-loss records and not enough on the spirit of the team.
I also would say and I think I've said this before, but to the teams that do focus more on the win-loss records rather than the spirit, it's not so much the players. We've seen teams turn things around. Team Cole is just as an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily that your players are bad, it's just how they've been built or how they've been used, or maybe just sheer bad luck. And it's not necessarily that fucking hell, I can't talk today, sorry. It's not necessarily that those players are bad. It's just how they've been built, or who they've come up against, or random things that have happened. So the spirit of the team may not actually be the worst thing in terms of your win-loss record either.
So, yeah.
Yeah, why? No, wait, no, definitely not.
Yeah, no, yeah. You were right. You were right the first time. You were absolutely right. Gosh, is there anything... Because like part of the reason for me being the guest was to explain all this stuff. Is there anything that I didn't explain properly? I guess we'll get questions and then you guys can deal with it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I might come back on, until Dantos gets his stuff cleared on. But in any case, I'm guessing a lot of the Q&As probably have some questions too.
Yeah, there's quite a few. From page 4, somewhere down page 4 onwards. I think Dantos put like a what do you call it? Like a post where he broke it into, right, this is for the next week thing. It's like January 24th, I think it is.
Alright, I will go there. Q&A. Let's see, where are we? Let me go find that. You're not texting this week or doing anything?
No, it's not quite late enough in the evening for that.
Now, I've told you guys, of course, privately, but I'm going to make a public announcement of it as well. Oh, keep up the derp. Keep up the unprofessionalism. If you guys start acting all professional and stuff, I'm going to start acting bad.
Don't worry, I have no intentions of acting professional. That would take all the fun out of stuff.
Yeah, because it'll start making me look like I don't run big.
Well, we wouldn't want that. How would we, Squee?
I just... Okay, good. Okay, I know where to start now.
Okay.
Got it. Alright,
just reel them off in whatever order they come in.
Alright, let's start with the first one. The Gamer Junkie 27 has 2 questions. How do you think Season 3 will turn out? Wow.
Being a lot of fun? I don't know.
I think it's way too early. We haven't even started... we've just barely started testing for teams to change, and there's going to be so much changes made by what we've added and what teams are going to change. I have no idea.
I can make one prediction. Prediction. Earth Defenders will not win a single match. And that is...
It's Cleo.
Watch now, Earth Defenders go ahead and win the Super Bowl.
If I'm being my coach, we're taking the season. If I'm being completely realistic, I don't think we're going to have a 4-8 record. I guarantee we should have a much better record than that. I don't know if we'll go all the way or not. I think that I'm a firm believer that 9 times out of 10 you build your team slowly. You don't build them in a day, except for Team Cold. Even Team Cold. To be fair,
I got lucky.
Yeah,
I had a vague opinion of what I wanted to do, and it happened to work.
So, but I think they'll be much better. As far as who takes it, gosh, I don't know. Too many changes to even begin to guess.
Yeah, not only to individual teams, but to the league as a whole, I think. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
And one thing that'll be really interesting, I haven't mentioned this, the way that the divisions are going to be split up will also make it even more difficult to choose, because the way we're going to do this, and you're going to love this one, the top-ranked teams will go in one division. The bottom 4 teams will go into one division. And the middle 8 will just be randomly divided in the other 2 divisions. Why?
Yes! That'll be fantastic.
Why? Well, I thought you wouldn't like that.
Why? That's brilliant.
Okay. I'm curious. Are you speaking from you think this is a really good idea, or this is going to help Team Cold?
I think it's a really good idea.
Okay, good. Because
don't give a damn about Team Cold. That's fantastic.
There's 2 of you. There's the I want Team Cold to win no matter what, and the I think this is a great move for the league. So it's hard to tell which one.
Yeah, those are the only 2 that I let out of the asylum.
Right.
There's about 1 million others going, oh god, no. But yeah, they don't get out.
Because the thing is that, and this will happen every single season, the top 4 teams will get one division, the bottom 4 will get another. Why? Because when you're running for the playoffs during the regular season, who are you competing against? Well, you're competing against the teams in your division. And by putting the top-ranked teams, the better teams of the season, in their own division, it ensures that your competition is going to be on your level.
Yeah.
And it will help to ensure, like, say, for example, Dragon Ball Heroes, even if they do a lot of work this season, the chances of them becoming a top-tier team It's not likely.
No.
At least not in this season. Maybe a couple seasons down the road once they really get things together. But by putting them in a division with the bottom 4 ranked teams, they have a much better chance of making first, second place in their division.
Yeah.
Remember that your competition is your division. It's not the other divisions. It's your division.
Yeah.
So by separating them out, the top-ranked teams are in their own division. They're going to have to compete with other teams on their level instead of having their team and a bunch of people that didn't do anywhere near as good as they are.
Yeah.
So
that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so that's the way the divisions are going to be played out. I'm going to do that really soon. I mean, like in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
So we'll know what divisions we're in. Like I said, the middle 8 teams.
I was going to say, how are you going to rank them? Are you going to rank them by win-loss records or where they came in their division?
No. Win-loss records only.
Okay. Cool.
Well,
I was just thinking of more like for the Gohans.
No. It'll be win-loss records only, because if you go by where they came in their division, second place in one division might not be anywhere near second place in another division. You see what I'm saying?
No.
So it'll be win-loss records only. So I can tell you right now, it'll be Cold, Android, Saiyans, and I think Muscle in the strong division. I can actually go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, but, it would either be Muscle, Boo, or it would either be Muscle or Boo, or I think.
I'm about to find out. I'm firing my internet. All right. Let's see. Dragon Ball Z League divisions. Let's see. Okay. It'll be Androids, Cold. Saiyans and Muscle.
Yeah.
Be in the top division. In the bottom division, it'll be Namex, Dragon Ball Heroes. I think Derp.
And who else? Earth Defenders.
Earth Defenders are the Blades. Actually, they're both tied.
What are you going to do? Randomly generate it or playoffs?
No. I'll stick the Blades in there.
What?
I'm taking a hit for the team. I'm going to put my team in a harder division.
Yeah, fair enough. He's so fucking honourable.
Sickening. So yeah, the bottom division will be, and if you're on that, don't feel like that's we're not giving you special treatment. We're not saying pity on the Namex or whatnot.
Well,
no,
it's not pity on the Namex, because you're giving them the competition. There's going to be competition for them. You're giving them the chance to get their team to a better standing than they were before.
Exactly. We're leveling the playing field. We're making it so that instead of you trying to compete against the 10-2 team, you're competing against teams that are around your same level. It's not a pity thing at all. And hey, you know what? Next season, if you do better, you're going to be bumped to a harder division. That's just the way it works. So it'll be Namex, Derp, Dragon Ball Heroes, and the Blades. And then the other 8 teams will just randomly generate between the other 2.
Cool.
So I think I'll make, I guess, East Kai division should be. I think I just figured out what to do. Oh no! East Kai division will be the hardest.
Uh-huh.
No, you know what we should do? We should make North Kai the top, because North Kai, King Kai is the most famous one.
Yeah, true. I suppose so.
His division should probably be the hardest one to get into, and then make West Kai the weaker one because he's so small. And
or you could make South Kai. Looking at being at the very bottom.
No, I like West Kai being. Well, cool. Yeah, I guess South Kai would work, but West Kai is so.
Actually, no. Northeast. Yeah, West Kai makes sense if you go around the.
Oh yeah, if you go around the table, yeah. So that's what we'll probably. West Kai will be the hardest division to get in. The top, like the Androids, Cold, Saiyans, and Muscle, and West Kai will be the Dragon Ball Heroes, Blades, Derp, and Namex.
Yeah, I must say it's very funny. And ever so slightly scary. You go Androids, Cold, Saiyans, Muscle. To me, Cold still don't fit in there. They shouldn't be there. They should.
Well,
they
and
should
it's
be with
it's kind of a
Derp
double-edged
and
sword,
Namek
because
and
it's kind of. I was gonna say it's kind of a double-edged sword, because on one hand you're like, oh God, thank God I don't have to face those teams.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
oh God,
you
I've
have
still
to
got to beat everybody else
against them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on my team, I was really, really happy that I never had to face Cold or Androids until I got to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But then again, once I got to the playoffs, it was this huge roadblock. It's like Look at me versus 10-2 teams.
Yep.
Oh joy, we're so screwed. So that's the way the divisions are going to go. Wow, and then that was a really long answer for that question, but that was the information that needed to get out there, and you heard it here first.
Yeah.
On the Zcast.
Oh god.
All right. His second question.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think we should take for the GT Goku's replacement?
I actually watched the tests.
So did I.
Thinking of replacing GT Goku?
Yeah, I watched the test too, and I don't know if he was just fighting hard for his spot, but
it shows what he can actually do. He was pretty bloody impressive. Can you take GT Goku as his own replacement? I think that'd be a pretty good idea.
honestly, I was thinking, God, I love Pan, and I would really hate to see Pan go, but she didn't do that well.
No, she didn't.
I would almost say go with Goten, Trunks, GT Goku, and maybe Cell Jr.
Yeah.
But no, keep Pan. Pan's
awesome. She's almost like Videl in a way.
She's her daughter.
Oh, right. That'll be it then.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why, she just reminds me of Videl.
Shut up, Squee. I never watch these things.
Like, there's a lot of things, like, it hurts me as like the creator, and I made these teams, and as they change, it hurts a lot, because it's like, the Vals, I always pictured the Vals as Videl, Pan, Fasha and 18, or actually, I had Fasha and 18, but I put 18 on androids first, and so I gave her Zangai and all that. And they changed, and like they took away Pan, and I was like, oh, Pan. Yeah. And then and now they're talking about getting rid of Videl, and I was like, no. But it's not my choice anymore, and I would never stand in their way of bettering their team. But it's like.
Oh, you're undoing all of my hard work.
Don't get rid of Adele, guys. Come on. She tries so hard.
Yeah, she runs into Cooler Supers just to prove how much she loves you.
Actually, you know what I think it is? Is that she's one of the weaker characters in the show, and so when you see her do well, it's like, Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Which is why I chose Earth Defenders.
Yes. I think a point about Videl is she just struggles against people who throw beams or balls of stuff because she's so close combat orientated.
They're testing her out as Super Saiyan Man 2. They might stick with her, and she might do better as that. So we have and actually I was thinking, what you guys should do? To add to the Zcast, especially during the off season, because I don't think you guys are going to be doing it every week or whatnot, but it's up to you. But one thing that would be interesting is, because we're not going to go into teams' threads and get into their private workings, but you could say, look, hey guys, why don't you every once in a while post what you're thinking about doing. I'm thinking about changing this person. We're thinking about taking this person. And then you can just kind of update the league as a whole. As, hey, news from the Rugrats. They're thinking about dropping so-and-so and taking so-and-so. Nothing's confirmed yet, but that's their word on the grapevine,
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool.
And then just everyone discussing that kind of thing.
Right.
And
so you team coaches... Yeah, team coaches, if you could do that. In fact, you know what? Make a separate thread on the I'll do it too, I guess, on the Zcast topic, like, gossip or team news. Okay. You can do something like that. And that way it'll give us something to spread out to the people, because even though we're making your threads private, the more public, the more information that's shared among the viewers, because there's so many viewers that don't participate, they just enjoy watching and listening. So to keep them up to date and informed is still fun. Yeah,
it is, and also for them to watch how stuff's developing as well. It's entertaining to see what teams are thinking about doing.
Yeah. So okay, another question from Gamer Junkie: who do you think was the most spammy in terms of supers? Cough, Goten, cough. I mean, there were some days where it's like Jace was like, "Holy crap, Jace!" Or
Mecha Frida.
Yeah, but honestly,
I don't.
Yamcha even had his days.
Yeah, no.
But I don't think anyone beats that
level
one
of headbutting people.
Goten did
Paul
11.
Must have had such a headache at the end of it.
God, 11. Now, 2 of those were his other super. Two of those, but 9 connected headbutts. Wow.
That
Just
cheat.
all right. Another question, also from Gamer Junkie. He's got two more. Excuse me. Is there a particular schedule for the podcast?
That implies organization.
No. I think that what you guys are generally going for is during the season once per week.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. It does really depend on how our schedules go, because
Right.
there are certain days that we're off and the others not, or however it works.
I would, especially during the on season, I wouldn't expect a day. Like every Thursday it'll go up.
Yeah.
But I think that they will try their best to get one up a week to discuss the past week and the upcoming week.
Yeah.
And I think you guys have been pretty good about getting it kind of in between.
Yeah.
Kind of a couple days after, but a couple days before.
Mm-hmm.
But in the off season,
Yeah,
sporadically.
we'll do when either something big happens, or we just kind of feel like it and our schedules coincide.
One thing that they were thinking about doing, because I was talking with you guys, was just picking a match.
Yeah.
And analyzing the match move for move, and I guess you guys might like actually put a video I guess you could say, here's the link to that match or something like that. Yeah. But just in depth analyze the match, and we're not talking about matches where it was apparent who won and why, not the Aurelie destroying teams, but like a match that was like just a really good match and why it was a good match. Like a really good one would be like, I think there's a season 1, or maybe it was season 2, but there was one with the Boos where the Gohans had the Boos against the ropes, and the Boos pulled that victory out. Mm-hmm. And for a second you're like, what? And then you realize when you go back over it, they were tagging perfectly.
Yeah.
So, like, and maybe they might do like, that, and just analyze some matches and stuff like that. Or, but sporadically in the off season.
That's something that I need to talk with Dantos about whenever he gets back or gets around to doing stuff. Because if Dantos doesn't get back, then or for a while at least until sort of like the season starts or whenever he ends up back.
If I'm free, if we're free at the same time, I don't mind subbing for a couple weeks. So
That's brilliant.
And the other question we already answered: who do you think certain teams should take off their roster for season 3?
Yeah, we've already covered that one. You'd be surprised how much the Star forums talk,
We do talk a lot. Crow Gamer asks, when will you do the next podcast? Well, this kind of answers that question.
That was more based for his next question, I think.
Oh, okay. Because I plan to upload the Ginyu Force and others I can do test after Squee uploads the finals. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
And then I have one question. After watching Ginyu versus Gildo test, do you think bringing Ginyu is the right call? I personally, yes. Holy crap, especially that last build you tested. There was a match there where Ginyu was still in the green.
I've sort of been over this before with Ginyu and Guldo and sort of touched on it earlier. Guldo isn't actually that bad. His supers are actually pretty good and his ultimate's quite nice. I don't know whether it's been sheer bad luck or what that he hasn't performed particularly well, but Captain Ginyu was certainly very impressive. So on the basis of the testing, certainly you should bring him back, yeah.
And I have to also admit too that I'm biased. As I've said all the time, I care more about Spirit than I do win-loss records. Yeah. And to me, the Ginyu's just not the same without the captain.
I don't know a huge amount about the league, but yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that.
But serious analysis aside, now, and I'm not saying Gildo did bad, but Ginyu was that was not the Ginyu we saw in season 1 at all. Definitely not the Ginyu we saw in season 1. I think it's definitely worth, especially at least more testing, and I would love to see a return of the Ginyu.
Yeah.
So of the captain.
It would certainly increase the height of the Ginyu force as well. Sorry.
Claude Rebel says, how could Yamcha be even more awesome? I love him so much. Aww.
Really? Aww, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay,
and then get hit by Mecha Freezer Supernova.
I just saw you there and I was like, why are you asking questions on your own? You're just answering them. Alright, we have here, Huzzah for Timelines has 4 questions. 1, what did you think about the Tenkaichi Bowl? What could be handled better, and what are your favorite moments? All right. Well, we've talked about what we liked and the favorite moments, but what could be handled better? That's a good question. What do you think?
I don't know. I think handling stuff better implies professionalism, which is sort of against the spirit of the league, to be honest with you. I don't know. I quite like the way the Tenkaichi Bowls run, to be honest with you. I don't have any particular problems with any aspect of it. No, I don't know.
I'm with you. There's a couple of things that, behind the scenes that I know I could have done better, like not waiting till the last second to choose my commentators. But
there's that kind of thing.
Other than that, I thought it went off brilliantly. I thought it went off without a hitch.
No, I agree.
I like. I really like the way that there's a different commentator for every event. Mm-hmm. I like that we split the events up. And that's about it. Yeah. I think it would be kind of fun to maybe add a couple more skits here and there, like maybe what's going on in the locker room. But I mean, that's all stuff that can be.
Yeah, it is. And maybe I was thinking when we were doing when you were doing the division things, was maybe splitting up the division matches. So you have the final just before the final, the Super Bowl, maybe, or before the second match of the Super Bowl. But apart from that,
possible. Or do like a division match and then the first round of the one-on-ones.
That kind of thing. Just maybe sort of splitting it up or cutting between things a bit more. But apart from that, I had absolutely no problems with it at all.
Oh no, we're just gonna cut in the middle of the match.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Cell does onto the one-on-one match. And then like 10 minutes later, the Powerball. So okay, number 2. Why did you think Mecha Frieza got taken down so easily? Was it a bad day, or was Yamcha just so cheap that he fainted? Oh, Yamcha, I love you.
No comment.
The funny part is, I'm not even going to try and pretend, Yamcha just owned that. No, Yamcha was a cheap bastard, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Yamcha knew what it took to win.
No, Yamcha did what it took to lay Mecha Frieza low. That was all that bastard did.
You know what? It's retaliation for, even though it really wasn't your team, but for the TN from last year.
Yeah.
Bardock and Tien. I think that was even shorter than Yamcha Mecha Frieza.
I can't wait to face you next season, Squee.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna
be awesome. Number 3. Have you ever told anyone outside the cyber world about this league? And if so, how did she react to it?
Yes, and perfectly fine. It's an interesting point, actually. I can't remember where I heard you talking about it before, but it was probably one of your thoughts behind the wheel things. But actually no, maybe not. Can't remember. Whatever. Anyway, introducing people outside the internet to LPing or to the Dragon Ball Z League, it's not so much about the fact that it exists or the fact that you're part of it. It's how you go about telling them, or how you go about introducing it. If you suddenly jump forward and say, "Ha! Look what I do," it's going to have a completely different reaction to if it sort of comes in conversation. So one of my friends was going, "Oh, what are you going to be doing this weekend?" And it came into the conversation like that. And it wasn't until after the conversation that he went, "Wait, what?" and actually, displayed some interest in it. So it's not all about the fact. It's not all about that it's something very unusual. It's just how you display it to other people.
You know what I found that actually works for me, because I have told a couple of people, is weird. It all changes when they realize, or when you find out that it's not just a couple of people doing some silly thing, that there are hundreds of people who follow it.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Now, I don't think there's hundreds of people that participate, but there's got to be. I would say there's at least 50 some odd people that actively bet and run teams.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And there's hundreds of people who watch it on a regular basis.
Yeah, all you need to do is look at the view account for it, or the subscribers to the channel itself.
And basically, if you just said, oh, I run this sports league with Dragon Ball Z, but if you go, you know what, and I've done this before, is I think actually I mentioned my forums at first, like your forums, and I was like, yeah, well, I was doing this, and it's a league, Dragon Ball Z, and I made very early on to say, and it's got lots of participation. There are hundreds of people who follow this and watch, and that actually leads to a different because if there's hundreds of people that do it, then it must not be that weird.
No, it mustn't.
Or we just have hundreds of weirdos, which I think is probably...
Yeah, I think that's probably slightly more accurate.
But, yeah. But no matter what, it is difficult to tell normal people and not get the look.
No, it is, yeah.
But you and I are familiar with that because, that's what anytime you try and describe Let's Playing in general
yeah.
to someone outside the Let's Play
community. So difficult. It's like, what the fuck?
All right, so, number 4, who, in your speculation... will be a groundbreaker in Season 3? The 7-point build characters?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I honestly couldn't say that. A lot of teams have their innovations. I like the way the Super Saiyans run stuff, so I'd probably say them, actually, given the way that they're very democratic in the way they run things. So I think the way the Super Saiyans throw ideas around and stuff probably gives them the best chance of being the most innovative. But I don't know. We'll have to see how things. We'll have to see. That's another difficult question to answer. I
think honestly, like I'm thinking about it, I think the Ginyu Force might be a real force because just think about it. Raccoon didn't find his calling for planting until towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Just imagine if they could refine Raccoon's planting, get the Jace back they had at the beginning of the season, and just have Birder stay Birder.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
that would be something to see.
Yeah, a bit of a threat, and especially if they can get Captain Ginyu to work.
Who would be a groundbreaker? The Vals. If the Vals can really... I think the Vals' biggest problem is that they have trouble pulling it all together. They have the elements.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of merging it all. And if they can get that team to be consistent, if they could get 18 to be consistently decent, and then have her moments of glory, if they can have a Rayleigh just be a Rayleigh, if they can get maybe Videl and Fasha to be consistent, they would be, I would say they'd be a contender for going all the way.
Definitely, yeah. Alongside, your typical powerhouse teams, Colds, Android Saiyans, Muscle, Boo.
Android Saiyans, Muscle, Boo, yeah. What was that other one? Earth Defenders, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? They're the only team in the playoffs that went 3 rounds. Well, besides the Muscles and
the Androids. Androids against Cold was a 3-round match. Thank you.
They're one of the only teams. 3 rounds. All right. Next question from HJK. Which of the changes for Season 3 are you guys most looking forward to?
Probably either the 2-point restrictions or the 7-point addition.
Same here. I'm really excited about the blue abilities.
Yeah.
A little apprehensively so, but I'm really excited about. No, apprehensive just because I don't want to see just a whole bunch of blue abilities everywhere.
Well, if we put the restrictions on that, then that would be a problem.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see what will come out of the 7-point.
Yeah, so am I.
And I'm also excited at the extra variations the 2 points will give.
Yeah. And seeing how people see their teams differently will be very, very entertaining.
All right, Kurogamer asks, if I had put Raccoon in MVP, do you think he would have been even cheaper, faster than Yamcha? Hard to say.
It depends what he ends up doing, to be honest. He
Hard
had the
to
potential
say,
to be, but Yamcha was just a dick.
I would say his grabs would be a force to contend with, of course.
Yeah.
All right,
a lot of people have smash attacks that send people going down, so I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, but they don't use them like
True.
the pointer.
No, true.
Game Junkie says, if I had put Goten in the MVP and Trunks in the All-Star, how different do you think the results would have been? I don't know. It's really hard to
The
say.
1 versus 1s is difficult to call. I certainly wouldn't have called Trunks to win it, if I'm honest. But then again, I wouldn't have called Mecha Frieza to get knocked out in under 10 seconds. Again, for the All Stars, the same goes. I don't know. It's just too difficult to call.
Yeah, same here. I'm not even going to attempt that one. It's just, yeah. So, okay, Graysoul has some questions. Say Z, say Z, say Z.
Z.
I thought we agreed that it was, what did we agree it was? It wasn't Z, it wasn't Z, it was something else. We agreed it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So,
whilst I was blowing the crap out of you in Freelancer.
bumping me into planets and stuff.
Yeah. Those are the days.
I should have kept that video I made, the one where I slowed it down. Eat it all.
Oh, God.
Still the greatest piece of revenge. I will still get comments on that video once in a while going, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Alright,
Even I say
okay.
it was awesome.
Question, what is your favorite Total War game? Oh, gosh. I would have to say Shogun 2 because the diplomacy is outstanding.
Either Shogun 2 or Medieval 2. Medieval 2 just because of the sheer modding capacity there is going around it and the fact that it's awesome. Shogun 2 for everything.
I honestly don't think I've ever played it with stainless steel.
I've never played with stainless steel either.
I've heard that's a really good one. I think there's some good AIs out there too for it. I should try that sometime.
Yeah.
Alright, number 5. How far do you think the androids' cold Saiyans will go next season after the changes are made? So this is another one. Do you think they'll keep 10-2? Another one, it's so hard to tell this early. This is something that you should be asking right before the start of Season 3.
Yeah, or,
Once
after the first couple of weeks of Season 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's too early to tell anything.
I think there's a good chance of it, but,
Have either of you been to Scotland?
Yes. Well, I have.
I have not.
I climbed up Ben Nevis in October of... Oh, God. I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago now. It was for my dad, or around my dad's birthday. Fucking
Did you have any haggis? Is it as horrible as people say it is?
It's gorgeous.
Probably. Haggis?
Yeah, it's nice.
What?
My dad makes haggis on a pretty... Well, now, at least,
No,
over the past couple of weeks.
I don't normally hear gorgeous and food in the same sentence. It's tasty or good or taste great. Gorgeous is not a common adjective.
Fantastic, amazing,
Okay.
very, very nice. I like it.
I understand. I've never had it, so I can't say anything. It's just that you have such awful tales here. Down.
Yeah, we have awful tales about everything, everywhere.
All right, Chockle has 3 questions because he loves. It's either a 3 or the top part of a heart. 1. Based on what we saw from Android 8 and Android 16 in the test, as well as any impressions from 16, impressions of 16 from before, who do you think would be the better fighter, and how would you set them up? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that test yet.
I have. I actually saw that question just as the test went up, so I made a point of watching it. I'd personally take Android 16. Android 8 looked like he hit very hard in terms of melee, but his super abilities were probably below average, I would say.
I really think that you put some Pataras on 16 and he will be a beast.
Yeah, I agree. 16 is, from what I saw in that one and from what I remember, an all-round fantastic character. So regardless of what you put him on, I think he'll do, at the very least, decently well. It'll just be finding out what makes him tick best, which is, what testing's about, apparently.
Yep.
I wouldn't know. I just watch other people test.
Okay, what do you think is the coolest looking ultimate move in the game? Oh, wow.
Android 13 is pretty cool. But
Android
I'd probably have to go
13?
for the supernovas. Sorry.
I'm trying to think coolest looking. You know what? I like late Piccolos, when it's done by a human, because it is so cool that, the cutscene and they get surrounded by it and it all converges on them. There's a couple I really like. There's a few, like Nail and Deborah, where like they fly right up into your face, put the hand right in front of the face, and blow you away.
Yeah,
those are just nice to watch.
Yeah.
Those are just fun. But yeah, if on a side note, some of the coolest just in design and stuff, I really like. I don't like to see him try and use it, but I really like the idea behind Tien's ultimate. That it takes a bit of life, but it could be just devastating.
Yeah.
If he uses it correctly. I like, and I'm not being biased here, I like mid-level Goku's ultimate because if you do the fact that if you do the gather your energies, not only will it make it stronger, but you can see it in the sky just sitting there waiting to be used.
Yeah.
And if you do it can be so powerful. I like the concept behind that. Mm-hmm. Ginyu's, I don't know why they don't do this with Ginyu. It would be fantastic if Ginyu's ultimate did what it was supposed to do and just traded places and players, where you become Ginyu and they become whatever you were with the same amount of health and moves. That would be so fantastic.
That would be amazing.
I don't know why they don't do that.
I don't know.
Oh,
Seems
well.
a bit nonsensical.
And then number 3, if you could make any team of 4 for the league, who would be in it? No, they would have to be related in some way. For instance, you could start a Team Bro with Goten, Raditz, Cooler, even though they're all on other teams. But it would be related that they all are brothers of someone else in the game. Oh, I see. I was going to say, where's the connection there? I could see that.
I'd probably stick with Team Cold, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Defenders.
I don't know enough about the history of Dragon Ball Z in and of itself, and I like Team Cold, so I'll stick with them.
Well, and I know I'm not the best person to answer the question. I mean, like, they didn't know I was going to be on this, but I'm the worst person to ask because I did that 16 times.
Yeah.
I was
more
like,
if you pick the teams that
I did that 20 times technically. Yeah, so you saw exactly what I would do. In fact, you see it every week.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly, because they have been changed since I made them.
Well, yeah, but they still keep the same basic shape.
Right. All right, and his offer timeline says, has 3. Have you ever been so happy with your team's performance that you screamed yes, yes in your room? Again, I think it's pretty obvious that everyone knows the answer for my answer to that question.
I'm going to make you say it.
Yes, a lot. In fact, the one that comes to mind was the Season 1, Earth Defenders versus Super Saiyans, where my Goku had like 1 hit left. The whole match was awesome, but my Goku had like 1 hit left. Their Goku had an entire bar, and my Goku, just for that 15 seconds, was untouchable.
Yeah.
And I remember Inferno going, "My God, Squee, you're just beside yourself." I was like, "I know." Or the TN match in the tiebreaker, I was standing up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. What about you?
I don't know. There's been quite a lot of matches actually where we've won stuff either convincingly or not quite so convincingly. Like when we fought Muscle in season 2, it was a lot of self-control that went into not standing up and going yes at one point. Beating Booze as well was pretty bloody fantastic. Same goes for Androids. And actually, to be honest with you, the 3 matches against the Earth Defenders, I was really happy.
Me too.
After we won that.
I wasn't happy after we did. I wasn't happy. I was happy in the first 2 matches.
Yeah.
No, I was happy. I thought, because I didn't expect them to win. I thought they did a fantastic job compared to what they'd been doing during the regular season.
You know, piss taking and your team sucks aside, the Earth Defenders did very well. Yeah. Just shut up. I've got a pencil here.
But no, actually, what I love most about the league is a lot of times, you have those matches that these are great matches.
Yeah.
And then I'll put them up, and then you'll see comments like, "Oh my God, I was screaming at my computer." I love those comments because it shows how into it people really get. Dantos even said that, he likes sports, but he doesn't get anywhere near the same emotion he gets as when he watches DBZ League.
No,
and
I agree.
That to me is the biggest testament of the success of the league. I even feel that way. I am a huge American football fan. I started looking more forward to my Earth Defender matches than my Dallas Cowboy matches.
God, yeah.
I did. And that's a huge, huge thing for me to say since I grew up with my grandfather watching it, you know? So that to me shows a huge success in the league, and it warms my heart. It really does.
I'd say you could partly attribute that at the very not only because it's something that everybody pitches in and works for, but it's something that's done by people you know better than anybody else, and you've certainly got more of a stake in it than you're just supporting a team. You know, it's almost more than pride. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Because if the Earth Defenders win, I feel like I had a part in it. If my football team wins, I didn't have any part in it, other than wearing my lucky scarf. You know, so, which is very odd because I have the only apparel I have. My mom made me a scarf for the Dallas Cowboys. So when they start playing in August or September and it's 98 degrees outside and I'm sitting here wearing a scarf.
Awesome.
Good times. Or a muffler, as I've heard they're called in some places.
No, still stick to scarf.
Yeah, I like that better. So, what do you think of the picks for the home stadiums? Some surprised me. Some have surprised me. Some people have chosen stadiums that I did not see them choose. I didn't see the Saiyans choosing Frieza ship. I thought they would have chosen I don't know, something else. I mean, I understand why, because the Bardock's battle and all that stuff. I completely understand. I didn't see that one coming. There's someone that chose Kami's Lookout. I never would have thought someone would have picked Kami's Lookout.
No, neither would I.
So, if someone chooses Mountain Road, I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Valkyries. Actually, no. Have the Valkyries picked a stadium yet?
No, I don't. Yes, they have. They chose the Iceberg because she said,
of course.
She said that Vals are in cold as ice and Nordic and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't been paying too much attention to it, I'm afraid.
You know what I think? You know what I think about the home stadium picks? I think people should be more confrontational.
Yes. Yeah. I was actually thinking about the Saiyans have picked. You know what? Screw you. Okay, I want that one. That's mine. Give me ships.
I want people to be confrontational. I want people to have to fight for their land, fight for their home. All right. Okay. And 3 general question: Gondor, has it fallen or is it asleep? Talking about the Third Age LP, it is asleep. It has not fallen. It is, and it was funny because it's not like we officially put it on hold or anything. It just kind of
eased out.
Slowly went to sleep. And it's very rare that I start a Let's Play and don't finish it. It can go months and months where I haven't done it, but I will pick it up. The only one, say, for example, Mass Effect with Friends, haven't done it in a while. I would have done tonight, but I'm having some issues with it, and so I'll pick it up next week, hopefully. But I get back to it. The only one so far that I don't know if I'll ever be able to finish is Draken and the Ancient Gates, because my emulator is having trouble running it.
Yeah.
But everything else, the Middle Earth, I will guarantee that sooner or later we will finish that campaign. I think it would be fun,
but it'll certainly finish.
Yeah. I think it would be fun to start another one, maybe as another faction, or maybe as instead of Middle Earth, do Roma Surrectum or do Shogun.
Yeah, something
like that.
If we did Shogun, we might even end up doing something multiplayer. Maybe, I don't know.
Right, but something like that. But I love the idea of the advisors. I think it's a great idea, and it works out so well. But by its very nature, it's not a fast Let's Play.
No,
it never will be. So, so that's that question, and that's it for the questions.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
We did pretty well on those.
I think so.
Is there anything else that we need to go through? I
don't. No, I mean, there's a lot of those topics I was going to give you guys to go over, which is better, B2 spammer or a melee hitter, or better a character that has peaks and valleys or a character that's consistent. But I mean, those can all be done at later times.
Yeah. Okay. So unless you want to throw those questions out and we can discuss them.
No. I think that'll be. We need to save material for other
Yeah, I agree. Especially during the off-season, it might be useful.
We'll save some material later. I think we're hitting around 2 hours, so...
yeah, this call's gone on for about 2 and 10.
So, yeah, we're around that. So I would say in the questions, in the Q&A, here is the place, especially since it looks like I may be returning next week, and even if I'm not... Well, we'll put it this way. If there's tons of questions for it, I might just come back to answer some of them and whatnot, but if you have any questions about the new rules, regulations, etc., and here is the place to ask them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So,
we'll do our best to answer questions, and if we don't know the answer, then we'll grab Squee by the scruff of his neck and get him on.
and I would say, when you guys are asking questions, just to make Dantos and Rebel hate me, ask more thought-provoking. Like, a lot of questions are, who do you think would win this? Those questions, first of all, are really hard to answer. I think it would be much more fun to ask a question like, if you had a Rayleigh, what build would you give her? Or, or do you think it's better to have, like I said, like 4 characters that are decent, or 1 horrible, 2 decent, and 1 great? That kind of stuff. Make them think about it, because it's really hard to say, it's really easy for them to cop out and go, I don't know who's going to win that. I can't answer that.
You're saying, like, we don't want to answer questions or something.
No, it's not that. I just love giving you guys
I know you do, bastard. So...
Oh, and one more quick reminder: if you have the emulator and the computer that can run it, it doesn't have to run it at perfect speed, but it has to run it at more than like 75%. If you have the computer that can run it and you want to do tests, send me a PM. And because the more testers, like right now, I think we have like 3 people doing the test, and we have tons of testers.
Yeah, or test.
Test to run, yeah.
Cool. Any other reminders you wanted to pop out there?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, folks. Well, that was this episode of the Zcast. Thank you very much, Squee, for coming along, and we might end up having you back next week. Or next
possibly.
time we do it.
Possibly.
So yeah, until next time, folks, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you there.
Alright, bye.